Hey King, thanks for clicking on the video, and welcome to the second episode of Biology of a Lolcow, the series where we take a look at a specific trait that pops up among multiple lolcows and see how it applies to our favorite train wrecks of individuals. This episode will be looking at bad hair. Hair is often an indication of an individual's hygiene. I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you're probably somewhat aware of lolcows and thus are aware that they don't have the best track record with personal hygiene. So there are some very interesting hairdos that are on display for us to enjoy. This list is mostly lolcows that I am aware of or know much about, so if there's any individuals that you feel this applies to as well, please let me know in the comments. I always love learning about new cows. Also, if there are any more ideas for traits that you would like to see in the future, let me know as well. But without further ado, let's begin. Jupiter the Hybrid is a lolcow that I haven't discussed on this channel until just now, but he is one of my favorite lolcows to learn about. He doesn't quite crack the top 5, but he is comfortably top 10 for me, and we will definitely be taking a look at him in my other series, Chronicles of the Lolcow, at some point. Jupiter, or Shadow Raven, whatever you prefer to call this guy, is actually a fairly tame example of a lolcow having bad hair. Now that may come as a bit of a surprise when you look at the greasy, unkempt mop on the top of his head, but trust me, it could be a lot worse. Jupiter doesn't keep himself or his surroundings very clean. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I can sometimes let my office area get a bit messy. You know, there might be some soda cans or water bottles built up on the desk, and I'm not always on top of the dusting. So, I can understand being a little unkempt sometimes. But Jupiter is an absolute disaster when it comes to keeping himself and his surroundings clean. We get to see the absolute state that Jupiter lives in when he made an apology video for being a PDF file, where within he does an apology breakdance to prove how sorry he is for preying on children.
Gotta do something really quick. Moving some stuff out of my way. Don't worry, my room's a little messy for now, but it'll get clean eventually. Just moving stuff around so that way I can make a room. Gotta move some stuff first before I do all this. There we go. Move some stuff around. Yeah. Gotta move some stuff before I do anything else. Yeah. Got that. And that's all I can do. It was supposed to be my movement, but my room's too cramped for any kind of dancing, but I do apologize. But that's all I can offer.
I enjoy that so much. I have no idea how he had so many items on the floor in that one particular spot. It's actually a bit impressive, but not quite as impressive as that move that he busted for us. That was superb. Obviously, we don't forgive him in the slightest, but it's at least more of an apology than pretty much any other lolcow has given for similar transgressions. There are some other examples of Jupiter's living space being an absolute mess, but that's not the main point here. Jupiter's problem is that from the looks of it, he doesn't see the inside of a shower very often. This leads to his hair having a very thick layer of grease on it. It honestly looks like if you ran your fingers through it, the grease on your hand would be like you just got done eating a chicken leg or something. But besides that, it looks like he has never seen a comb or a brush in his entire life either. Jupiter just basically lives in a perpetual state of bedhead, with the grease acting like a hair gel, just keeping it in place to whatever shape his pillow decided to create that morning. It can be seen very clearly in many of his AI or filtered TikToks that he was so fond of producing before his account got hacked and deleted. But he would have a bunch of words over a picture of him, and then the AI would change it to make him look tough as heck. I love how in the first one the AI thinks that his hair is his ear, so it just makes it all torn up because he becomes a demon werepire, which, keep in mind, this is not just him being edgy. The hybrid part of his moniker comes from him being a son of Satan, thus the demon part. He is also a vampire and a werewolf all at the same time. He is also married and has children with a My Little Pony who he set on fire as a further apology for being a predator. Saying all that out loud really makes you realize that this guy is absolutely insane, but that's where all the intrigue comes from, right? Overall, Jupiter is a very tame example that could be fixed very easily by just taking a shower, but I'm glad that he doesn't, since it just adds to his mystique, plus I don't really need to be around to smell him. We got one more pretty tame example before we plunge into the depths of this topic, but yet again Jason Blaha makes an appearance. Now that may sound a bit odd to some, as Jason is a very obviously bald man, so how could he have bad hair? Well, let me tell you, dear viewer, according to Jason, he isn't actually bald. Instead, he is a wannabe bald, because allegedly, when he lets his hair grow out, he gets very bad psoriasis that causes his skin to peel like a lizard.
No, I'm not actually bald. I wish I was. It would save me a lot of effort. I spend probably 10 minutes every single day rerunning the razor back over my head. I didn't actually go bald. I actually shave my head every single day.
It's almost a game changer for people who hate doing an hour of low intensity cardio. It's an absolute game changer. There, my girlfriend's trying to zoom in on my head so you guys can see I have stubble there that I'm not actually bald, that I actually shave my head, but who cares at this point?
I'm technically not bald, and people will say, oh, that's being defensive, you are bald. No, I'm trying to be bald. Sorry about that, had a neighbor's truck there. I'm a bald wannabe. I shave my head because, one, I think it looks better, it's easier to maintain, and I have bad psoriasis, and by shaving my head, it keeps the psoriasis off my scalp, so I don't get big lesions and stuff that bleed on it. Hair doesn't work for me on my scalp. I inject testosterone, hoping that it will make me bald. In fact, I'm starting to wonder if I'm not adopted or if my mother wasn't adopted, because her father was bald, and he started going bald in his early 30s. I'm 39 and I'm still not bald. I have a little bit of thinning hair. I'm not bald. I'm trying to be bald. I want to be bald. So I'm actually just a big fat wannabe baldy. I can't even be bald. I'm failing at it. So I have to use a razor. I'm trying, guys. I'm pinning testosterone. I'm trying to make my hair fall out, and it's not falling out. It would save me a lot of trouble shaving. So in the meantime, I just keep shaving it. So technically I have a shaved head, not a bald head.
I find it really funny that he fights this so hard. Like, trust me guys, I want to be bald, but I will correct you and tell you that I have a shaved head and not a bald head, because I do have hair, but I just shave it all the time. It's just such a weird hill to die on for Jason, and it makes it really obvious that he doesn't want to be bald. But I will say that he should definitely stay bald, as he does look a lot better that way. We have a few examples of what he looked like with hair, like this mugshot that was taken when he was 18, I believe. Now sure, a mugshot is rarely the most flattering photo ever taken of someone, but I don't think it's unfair to say that hair doesn't really work on him, not because of the psoriasis, that doesn't appear to be plaguing him at this point, but because it's just not a great style. To push the psoriasis point a bit further, however, if this was such a big deal for him, why wouldn't he be bald at this point? I mean, if your head gets sores and peels off just by having hair, wouldn't you have figured that out by the time you were 18 or whatever age he was in this photo? Ultimately, the whole wannabe bald thing is just another blatantly obvious lie that Jason has told. He is a compulsive liar, just not a very good liar, so we get to enjoy the mints off of old Blaha. Okay, so now we're going to get into some depths with our boy King Cobra JFS. Cobra's hair is its own character in the Cobraverse, with some of the funniest moments of all time revolving around his hair. Cobra's hair is almost a divine comedy, as Cobra wants nothing more than to have long, beautiful flowing hair to really complement his goth appearance. However, he has been plagued with the curse of male pattern baldness, which the effects of are certainly exacerbated due to his lifestyle of horrid diet and abuse of several substances. I will also mention that at one point Cobra claimed to be suffering from trichotillomania, a disorder where you pull out your own hair. That definitely could be a factor as well, but this results in Cobra having a hairstyle lovingly referred to as a skullet. Nothing on the top, party on the sides. Cobra, however, has not taken his lack of hair success lying down. He has tried several remedies to bring back his hair, such as placing raw onions on top of his head.
I'm out of the products that I've been using to help me grow my hair out. So I'm going to use my onion method here. Take this chunk of raw onion, and I'm going to stick it right there. To hold it in place, I'm going to use my bandana. Just like that.
To put it mildly, Cobra doesn't have the best track record of being clean or smelling very good, so him walking around with raw onions strapped to the top of his head probably didn't do anything to help that situation. Cobra's unfortunate hair loss situation isn't the only reason we are discussing his hair, however. Due to Josh's gothness, he is also very fond of dyeing his hair, which, by the way, isn't generally very good for your hair. But there are two main hair dye events that come to my mind. One in the good old days when Cobra was working at Wendy's. The event begins when Cobra returns from from a shopping trip. He shows off the content of his purchases, including a Monster energy drink, some cigarettes, headphones that he is hopeful won't break very quickly, and most importantly, the hair dye. Cobra then receives a call from his place of employment.
Hold that thought. Hello? What were you saying? No, I was shopping. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I'm already at the apartment. Son of a bitch. Wow. Well, I feel like an idiot. Oh, crap. Alright. Damn it. Alright. Alright, that works. I'm so sorry I misunderstood the dates. Alright, bye-bye. Fuck. Well, I feel like an idiot. I misread the days, and it's Thursday, not Friday. I was supposed to come in at 11:30 to 7, but they said I can come in at 4, so... Alright, what time is it? Alright, I got plenty of time. Yikes. Wow, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an idiot. Anyway, back to the video.
Honestly, bless their souls at that Wendy's. They really gave Josh so many opportunities to keep his job there. We won't dive into the whole Wendy's saga and go over how it came to an end in this video, but it's generally frowned upon to not show up at your scheduled time. Luckily, they worked with him and let him come into his shift several hours late. To me, this shows that Cobra didn't really do that much at that job, since if they really needed him, his manager, whoever called, probably would have had him come in right away. But that's neither here nor there. The important thing is that Cobra decides that he does in fact have enough time to dye his hair.
Yeah, these gloves are too small. I need XL gloves because I got big ass fucking hands, but oh well. Okay, this little thing, just hold it in your hand, roll it around, and just start working into your hair. Now, you should use over a kitchen sink or a towel because it's very messy, but I'll take my chances. It's a lot cheaper and a lot better for your hair than doing it in the salon. I can guarantee you that. But truth be told, I don't have to get in the shower and get completely naked. I can just rinse my hair out underneath the shower head. So, again, this does sound good right now, but I gotta go to work in a couple hours, so that's not gonna happen until I get off work. I'll say that for when I get off work. Oh yeah, I got it all over my fucking head. Yeah, it's a chick product, but you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. Yeah, the back of my neck is soaked in this shit. Oh, that's lovely. That's just freaking lovely. Yeah, I'm just making an ass of myself now. For your YouTube entertainment, no less. God damn it. This is why you want to put a towel on before you do this shit, people. This is the back of my hair.
It was really going okay for about 15 seconds, then he just kept applying the dye. Now, I'm not a hair dye expert, I've never done it before, but I don't think you're supposed to just squeeze it onto the top of your head. Like, the big glob that was running down his head and ended up on his shoulder likely didn't do that much for coloring his hair, but that is not even the worst of it.
And you can take time to do your eyebrows too if you want. Do my mustache too. Oh yeah. Why so serious? Really, Josh? A Joker reference? Yes, really. Oh, this guy.
Oh yeah, baby. Can't forget about the eyebrows and mustache. In all fairness, I can understand the eyebrows. I don't think it's entirely necessary, but I do get it. I absolutely, however, cannot comprehend why he applied hair dye to his clean-shaven upper lip. I'm really glad that he did because it's amazing, but he took a mess that could be manageable and made it 1000% worse. And don't forget, he has to go to his job soon.
Oh yeah, my coworkers are gonna give me so much shit for this. You know what I'm saying? It's life, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Oh, this guy. I've gone Avatar. Holy shit. My skin's all blue from the black hair dye. Oh, look, the blue skin clashes so horribly with my tainted teeth. Oh, how fucking lovely. How fucking lovely. Of course, there wasn't much of a mustache there to begin with, but yeah. Oh well. For a bowl of laughs, I guess. If they ask, why is your skin blue, Josh? I'd be like, I thought I come from as an avatar. I'm part avatar, you know. Yeah, why are one of those funky looking dragons to work? Yeah, that definitely saved me on transportation, right? Right.
So yeah, the rest of the video is basically just Josh doing that. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but I remember hearing that he did end up going to work looking like that, but was sent home immediately upon his arrival to work. The other instance of Cobra playing with hair dye was a video that was uploaded in the wee hours of the morning.
Somebody dyed their hair black.
This is probably my all-time favorite Cobra video. He looks like an absolute caveman with a deadpan stare, then he just locks onto you with his eyes. It's amazing. Now in this one, he managed to be even more dirty, with his eyes really being the only part of his head untainted by the dye. There isn't really much more to this particular story on this video. It's just short, but very sweet. The next Lolcow we are going to discuss is none other than the mother boinker himself, Chris Chan. Chris has a lot of accolades when it comes to his hair. In the early years, it was kept mostly short, receiving regular cuts from his victim and mother, Barbara, who surprisingly wasn't a very good barber, despite barber being literally in her name. The cuts were often uneven, but overall I would say it wasn't overly offensive. Sure, it didn't look good, but it was never his most striking physical feature in my opinion. At least that was until Chris began to grow his hair out. Now, as a man with long hair, I have learned that it is important to keep it healthy and very clean. Otherwise it will look frizzy and unkempt, sort of like how Chris Chan's hair looks all the time. Now, it's no surprise that Chris has failed to keep his hair looking nice as it grew longer, as he is notorious for having bad hygiene. Although I do think it's pretty funny that according to the Quickie, Chris, in an attempt to help his love quest, changed his shampoo from Heads and Shoulders, not a sponsor, to Axe brand Freeze anti-dandruff shampoo and conditioner. The marketing for Axe at the time, where it was showing all the women fawning for the men who use Axe products, really resonated with Chris. I like to imagine him sitting there thinking that this Axe shampoo is the final piece of the puzzle keeping him from getting a boyfriendless girl, and then being absolutely devastated when nothing changes about his situation. Beyond just being generally unkempt, however, Chris has also become very fond of dyeing his hair. Now, amazingly, he manages to be more competent than Cobra with this, or maybe not, who knows. At the very least, there aren't any videos of Chris making a mess of himself with hair dye as far as I know, but that doesn't stop Chris's hair from looking awful, with just eye-bleeding colors, with blue being the favorite. I mean, look at this.
Season new overlay, whatever that means. Oh, I'll watch this guy because it's on him now. Oh yay. Aye. Da. One heart piece. No, that was a bump. Bum. Okay, do.
Okay, I'll admit it, I mainly used that clip because of what was said and his reaction to it. It's absolutely haunting and he should be in prison, but his hair does look really bad. I'll just go ahead and say, I don't think blue hair works on people. I've never looked at someone and thought to myself, you know what would make them look better? Blue hair. But hey, that's just me. Up next, we have an incredibly obscure Lolcow to the point that I'm confident you've never heard of him before, and that is Ferd. Now, I discovered Ferd through the social media site and general cesspool iFunny. Ferd has an account on there that he is somewhat active with, but that's not how he came to my attention. Instead, it was iFunny's collective hatred for Ferd. The people of iFunny are pretty ruthless with their criticisms of Ferd, to the point that I can't repeat most of it on YouTube, but from what I've seen, he's just a bit of a goofy guy who is really into geography and maps, such as his rendition of how the conflict in Ukraine has progressed. He's also really big into working out, which is awesome. He makes some big gains, as you can see here in these posing photos. He is much bigger than some influencers like Jason Blaha. I also respect the Black Ops 2 trick shot edit posted in 2023. There's quite a bit to go over for Ferd, if I'm honest, like his stick figure hub content that he posted on his Twitter or X account. Obviously, I can't show you that here, and I don't really recommend that you look it up, but the main thing here is his hair. He has many hairstyles that he has rocked, and Ferd has actually made a nice little collage of some of his many styles. That can be seen here. Now, obviously he's done all this with his hair intentionally, but that doesn't make it any less shocking to look at. My personal favorites are May and June 2022. Those just really fit the type of guy that I think Ferd is. However, he is rocking a fairly normal hairdo these days, as can be seen in this video here. It's amazing that he's just doing that, like all on his own, no music or nothing. I do want you to take note of the bits of hair on the back of his head that are significantly longer than the rest of his hair. I'll be honest, the first thing I thought of when I seen this was Anakin from Star Wars Episode 2 with the weird braid that he had in that movie. But solid look for Ferd overall, all things considered. Daniel Larson is next on the list here. Just like with his teeth, Daniel's hair isn't a massive part of his aura as a lolcow, but there are a few moments where his hair really stole the show, like in the reverse mohawk incident.
Hey, old granny. I finally got my haircut done. Uh-oh. Where did they go? He said they'll come back.
Now that is a hairstyle fitting for the absolute lunatic that Daniel is. I honestly wish he rocked this style a little bit longer, but the basic context here is that some trolls approached him in person and offered him a haircut, and well, this was the final result. Other than this absolute banger of a style, Daniel mostly just had unkempt short hair that was probably shaved by Bob or something before the homeless arc began, but it never really looked all that good or all that bad. Add in the basic lack of hygiene that is so often found among lolcows, and we have ourselves another pretty fun example. I wonder what his hair looks like nowadays that he's been in prison for a while. As far as I know, there haven't been any images of him since he went in, just some phone calls that are a bit outside of the scope of this video, but still pretty funny nonetheless. I've gone ahead and saved the best, or I suppose in this case the worst, for last. I'm sure this comes as no surprise, but the undisputed champion of bad hair on a lolcow goes to none other than Cyrax. We talked a bit earlier about how King Cobra JFS rocks the skullet, but Cobra definitely takes the silver medal of skullets as Rax absolutely dominates the competition with his skullet. The hair on the side of his head is stringy and unclean. The scabs caused by various bug bites, irritation from lack of washing, and relentless picking are plentiful and probably infected. I mean, look at this. This boy is often referred to and compared to a goblin, for good reason. I mean, he may be the closest thing we will ever see to a goblin in real life. Now, I am no doctor, but I am confident that many of Cyrax's skin conditions could be fixed by simply taking a shower, but he absolutely refuses to do that. Cyrax's hair being awful and the scabs that adorn his scalp are just the most obvious signs of his absolute lack of hygiene, but trust me, it runs much deeper. Cyrax is covered in scabs and sores from head to toe. He has tried to fight off the relentless itching with various creams, but they just simply can't hold the line against his infrequent bathing. Quite honestly, it sounds like an absolute hell. I mean, he is constantly scratching himself everywhere. He can't even make a 25-minute video where he repeats the same point 15 times without scratching his head, back, legs, everywhere. It honestly is kind of amazing that he can function at all, as to me, a constant itch is the worst, most distracting sensation there is, so I can't imagine living with that 24/7. Bedbugs have gotten so entrenched in his room to this point that I think the only way to get rid of them would be to fumigate the entire house. I really do wonder if Sally and Ed are affected by Cyrax's rot, or if they just remain safe due to never really going near him or his room. I think it's time that we talk about quite possibly the most vile story to come from Cyrax, at least as far as his hygiene is concerned. I do want to give you a warning, as this is awful, so if you have a weak stomach or are eating something, maybe click off the video. Thanks for watching. But to those who are going to stick around, get ready. Infections are not a new thing for Cyrax. Since he has probably hundreds of open wounds on his body at any given time, it's actually kind of amazing that he isn't bedridden with some illness more often. His immune system is definitely the strongest thing about him. But there was a time that a very sensitive part of his body got an infection. The theory is that when Cyrax was playing with his joystick very vigorously, he got some cuts due to friction. This, combined with allegedly not cleaning up after himself, just leaving everything to fester, resulted in the infection that required an ointment to be applied to the affected area. Now, as we know, Cyrax does not take care of himself, so as the story goes, Sally, his grandmother, the woman who adopted Cyrax when he was young, was the one who was making sure that the ointment was properly applied to Cyrax. That's all I'll say on the subject, but I say all this to really hammer the point home that Cyrax may be one of the least clean human beings on the planet. I mean, I can't even fathom being in a situation that Cyrax finds himself in on a daily basis. The boy's hair is bad, by far the worst, but his issues are truly all-encompassing. But now that will do it. We made it through another one of these. I don't know about you, but I'm going to feel a little bit itchy for a while. I really appreciate it if you stuck around to this point in the video. I hope you consider checking out some of my other content. We've got a nice little catalog of Lolcow videos being built up here, with much more on the way in the near future. Thank you for watching, have a blessed day, and peace out.